Hey there fish heads, Tony Baber here. Welcome to my new YouTube channel. I wanted to start off doing a series of videos talking about some of my experiences fishing as a co-angler for the past 4.5 years and some of the things that I've learned. In this first video we're going to cover how do you even get started fishing as a co-angler and some of the options that are out there, as well as what your expectations should be and what you should be looking to get out of the whole experience. So let's get to it. Okay guys, first I want to say if this is your first time watching one of my videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and ring that notification bell so that you can stay in touch with my latest content and uploads. Alright, so you want to get started fishing as a co-angler and you have no idea where to even begin. Let me just say there's a ton of options that are out there. I'm not going to go into extreme detail with all of them, but there's everything from the Bass Opens to the FLW series to the FLW Bass Fishing League series, or even your local clubs. It depends on kind of what you want to do as far as the financing, the travel, and things like that. What I recommend and what I did is I started off with the FLW BFL series. They recently just lowered the entry fees for co-anglers and boaters. It's now $100 as a co-angler for every tournament. Each division has 5 tournaments with the possibility of qualifying for the regional, and then of course from there you can go on up into the All-American. Look into it, find out some more information as far as how the payouts are, how all that stuff kind of works. You know, kind of just do your own research as far as that goes. But what I recommend is if you go that route with it, the way I did it was I started off, rather than doing a whole series and committing to a full season and all the financial commitment that's kind of involved with that, paying up to $600 plus the travel and things like that, I started off just doing 2 tournaments. I did one at a lake that I'm extremely comfortable with, one that I've spent a ton of time on over the years. I basically grew up on it as far as like summer vacations and things like that, so I felt really comfortable fishing there, which is a great way to start because it's something that you're going to have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of comfort going into it. So it's a good idea to kind of do that just so it takes some of the nervousness or tension away from the whole experience to start off with. And then the second lake was Barren River Lake, which is over on the western side of Kentucky. It's a lake that I'd never been to, never fished, never had any experience with it, but it was a great chance to kind of challenge myself on new water and try new things, new techniques, things like that. So I recommend if you're going to get started, don't try to bite off the whole apple. Take a small little chunk of it, see how it goes, get some confidence from that experience, and also get some more familiarity with kind of the whole process, you know, from the angler meetings and meeting your boater and talking to him and kind of how that whole thing works, and get a good idea of the whole experience and what you should bring to the table, what your boaters typically can bring to the table, and kind of get your feet wet with the whole experience. It'll make you a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident, so that next year, the way I did it, you know, you go into your next season and you fish all 5 tournaments, you compete the whole season and kind of see how things go, and it just makes the whole experience a really good thing if you don't try to take off too much and get overwhelmed by it. The other thing I kind of wanted to cover with you guys was, you know, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. You don't necessarily have to fish the local divisions. You don't have to do, like for me, I live in Ohio, but I didn't start off fishing the Buckeye division, which is kind of more centrally located for me. I started off fishing the Mountain Division, which is down south, partially because of Lake Cumberland, but because I wanted to experience some other fisheries and some other challenges, I guess you could say. We fished Dale Hollow Lake, Lake Cumberland, and Barren River Lake, all of which, other than Cumberland, I had no experience on. So it was a great way to challenge myself, as well as fish some fantastic fisheries that have some great fish in there and populations and size. So think outside the box as far as that goes. If it's not too much for you, if you can't afford it, then stay local. You know, you don't have to pay for hotels if you're close enough. Like where I live for the Buckeye division, everything was within an hour from where I live. So I didn't have to buy hotels. I didn't have to pay the extra for the travel and things like that. So consider that when you're looking into it. If you're just getting started and really don't feel like you have a whole lot of experience, or you're not really comfortable making that financial commitment of up to like $100 or even $400 or $500 for some of the other tournaments, then start off with a local club. They do team clubs where they rotate partners, or there's clubs out there that do co-angler and boater. But it's a great way to learn from some really good fishermen. There's a lot of guys that just don't have the time to commit to it, but they still want to be able to compete a little bit and have some fun with it. And they're more than willing to show you things and teach you things so that you can get to that next level, so that maybe you can compete at the BFL level, or compete at the FLW series, or even on into the Bass Opens, or even take it further than that if you want. So something to think about. As far as your expectations and kind of the second side of this video, or the second half of this video, don't listen to the gossip. Don't listen to what you hear about, oh, fishing as a co-angler can be terrible, guys, they, what we call front boat you, they cut you off, they don't let you fish, or they're rude, or whatever. Like, don't listen to all that stuff, because as I've found, is people are always a lot quicker to complain before they are to kind of express happiness or a good experience with something. So you're always going to hear the bad side before you hear the good. So don't let that discourage you from taking that chance or taking that opportunity and pursuing it. I've had some bad experiences, sure, but I've had a lot of really good experiences, and I've learned a ton by doing what I've done. I feel like it's helped prepare me to make the move for this next year from the back of the boat to the front of the boat, being in control of my own destiny a little bit more. But as far as the expectations go for you guys, don't go into it thinking that you're going to win every tournament. Don't go into it expecting to have the boater bend over backwards to help you out. Some guys will. Some guys are all about helping you catch fish and them catching fish, and it's just a great experience. But some guys are a little bit more into themselves, so to speak, in the sense of they want to have a good day, and they're not as concerned about how things turn out for you. It is what it is, but it's up to you how you let that affect what you're doing. Don't let it get inside your head. Don't let it discourage you from basically competing or getting that experience. Try to learn from everything that happens on the water. What I do want to say is there's a lot to learn fishing out of the back. It's up to you how much you pay attention. Look at how these guys utilize their graphs. Look at how these guys utilize different techniques, or how they kind of have mastered certain things, or how they fish certain things, speeds or depths or lures, or just there's all kinds of stuff that you can learn from them just by paying attention and being observant. You don't have to be completely focused on them. Obviously, you're there for yourself. You want to compete, you want to have a good finish. But take the opportunity to ask questions if you're with somebody that's willing to answer them, or willing to kind of teach you and help you learn things. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to take a back seat in the sense of really focusing on what they're doing. If you're having a bad day or whatever, try to turn that around so that you can learn something from the whole experience and get something out of it. Another thing is set realistic goals. When I first started, when I did the first 2 tournaments that first season, what I wanted to do was at least catch one fish, get that experience of walking across that stage, weighing that fish in, and just experiencing the whole thing. And I was able to accomplish that. My first tournament, I didn't catch one, or at least I didn't catch one that I could weigh. The second tournament, I did end up catching one that I could weigh. And it was a fantastic experience, gave me a ton of confidence going into the next year, because I got that out of the way. So start off small and build on that. So going into the next year, I was looking, well, let's get my first multi-fish bag, or take it a step further and get my first limit, things like that. And as I challenged myself and I was able to meet those goals, it gave me more and more confidence to keep moving forward. So, the first time I had a limit was a top 5 finish for me, and I got a check and a trophy, and it was awesome. Huge confidence boost. Did I expect that every tournament? No. Did I want it at every tournament? Yeah, of course. Who doesn't? Why else would you do it? But you have to be realistic. There are things that are going to get in your way. There's things that are going to be a lot of things that are out of your control, and that you just have to try to learn to adapt to. So that's kind of the good side of fishing as a co-angler, is as tough as it can be, or as many challenges as there can be, because there's so many things that are out of your control, like where you fish, how much time you spend doing it, the speed that you're fishing at, all those kind of things. there's a ton of opportunity to learn to adapt to those situations so that it can better prepare you if you're wanting to move to the front of the boat, or even just better prepare you for those bigger situations and then bigger stages when you start moving into the regional tournaments, or if you're lucky enough to qualify for the All-American through the FLW. It's a fantastic opportunity to fish some great fisheries and really earn some major cash if you can manage to get there. That's one of my goals that I've not been able to achieve as a co-angler. I came close a couple times, but I've never actually been able to get to that last day cut and try to fish for that top 6 position. But I was always able to make the regional, and I always had a ton of fun and learned and got to fish some great fisheries. You know, I got to go to Chickamauga twice. I went to Kentucky Lake. It's just, you know, the opportunities that are there are basically up to you. One more thing I'll say is, don't worry about your first season or so. Don't go out there and try to get sponsors and deal with all that and have that extra commitment. Just go out there for you. Go out there and try to learn the experience, try to figure out how things work and get a handle on how all that works. Become a better fisherman before you start adding on extra commitments and extra responsibilities with it. And then as you go, then you can start reaching out to companies and things like that, which we'll cover in a later video. But just don't try to make it too big. Keep it small, keep it simple, and learn from it, and then grow on it as you go. If you do that, I think you'll have a great experience, you'll learn a lot, you'll be successful, you'll gain a lot of confidence, and you'll be able to move forward and maybe make that move from the back to the front, or make that move into the higher series and fish the FLW series and pay a little bit more but have a lot more reward for it, or fish the Bass Opens and pay more and have more reward. There's all kinds of opportunity out there. It's up to you how far you want to go with it, but if you're thinking about it, that means you should probably do it, because it's a great chance to really learn, a great chance to really fish some great places, as well as get that competitive juices flowing, get that adrenaline going. There's nothing like the feeling of blasting off in the morning with 150 to 200 other boats and just going out there and knowing that you're going to lay it all on the line and putting it all out there and just competing and trying to better yourself and also beat the other guys. So with that, stay tuned. I will have more videos coming up talking about kind of some of the other stuff like sponsorships, the mental game of it, some of the tips and techniques and things that I've done to kind of try to be successful, as also like some of the etiquette of fishing as a co-angler. So all these topics we're going to cover with videos coming up soon. So stay tuned. Like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so that you can see when those videos get uploaded. Every week on Wednesday, I plan on uploading new videos and new content. I'm going to have everything from vlog style things, covering my first season fishing as a boater, as well as some of the sponsors that I have and some of the products that they offer, as well as some of the baits and techniques that I like to use and things like that. There's just going to be all kinds of different things out there that I plan on putting out. So make sure you guys stay tuned, like the video, comment below. I will respond to you, and make sure that you follow me on all my social media pages. I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All of it is Tony Baber Fishing. Just look it up, like it, follow it, whatever. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something. Stay tuned for the next one.